Hey folks, it's been a while since I put a video together for the Sidetracks Board Game Club YouTube channel. As most of you know, we shut down the brick and mortar shop in Elwood City at the end of May, very beginning of June, and just couldn't keep things going there in terms of covering overhead and things. And so I've taken a month and a half, almost 2 months off, just kind of not sure exactly what I want to do next. We kind of knew that the whole idea of a board game club was a long shot to begin with. I always liked the board game cafe model and wanted to give that a shot. It's something I've always wanted to do, but I just wasn't interested in running a restaurant because it's just too much. And so I was hoping that a membership-based business model might be enough to just cover the overhead, to cover the rent and the utilities every month, and have a cool place for people to hang out and enjoy each other's company. I'm still convinced that board gaming is a hobby that can really help bridge some of the divides in our country. It seems kind of silly because it seems like a trivial thing, but I really think board games are a great mechanism for bringing people together, help break through some of the social isolation that people feel and some of the divisiveness, that we see because of politics and the 24-hour news cycle and all the things that have changed. I was just having a conversation with one of my sons the other day about how things have changed since I was a kid. And I really think, there's a lot more negativity these days than there used to be. At least that's how I feel it. And I feel like social media and things like that have made things worse in a lot of ways. And so over the last month and a half, I've spent a lot of time just relaxing. I learned a lot in doing this business just for the year that I did it. The level of energy and effort that you have to give to run a small business is just huge, in terms of, being there to operate the business, but then also trying to get the word out and let people know and have promotions and trying to sell the place. And there's just so much effort and work involved. And if you're doing it on the side, in addition to your day job, obviously, man, it's a lot of effort. So I've really enjoyed the last, 6 or 8 weeks of just kind of chilling out a little bit. Been watching a lot of Netflix, but been playing a lot of games too. Some of the things that I did once we closed down the shop in Elwood is I reduced my board game collection a lot. We had over 400 games down at the shop, and a lot of those games over the years I collected and I put together because I knew I always wanted to try the board game club or board game cafe thing. And a lot of them were games that I didn't necessarily like to play or care to play, but ones that I knew other people would probably like, because everybody has different tastes in games, and that's one of the great things about gaming. But these are games that I don't necessarily want to keep in my collection. So I sold and gave away a lot of games and took the collection down from, I think it was a little over 400 games. Now we're down to about 200, 225. So I almost cut my collection in half. And at first I had some angst over that, but now it's actually kind of a relief. It's a weight off my shoulders because I don't feel guilty for seeing all these games sitting over there on the shelves that I never play. And so my focus in terms of gaming over the last couple months has even changed, I've noticed. Instead of trying to play, all these games and brush up, when I was running the shop, I was trying to play as many different games as I could and sort of memorize the rules for all these different games so that when people came in, I'd be able to have something in my arsenal, in my quiver, that I could share with them, and something that they might like. And that was a lot of effort too, just learning so many different games, and you only have so much brain capacity to store rule books in your head. So there's a good bit of effort involved in that. But over the last month or two, what I've noticed is I'm focusing in more on the games I like to play and really starting to explore some games and dive deep into a few games instead of trying to play lots and lots of different games. And that's been fun. The game that I've really gotten into lately has been Memoir 44, and this is a game. It's World War II two-player game where you reenact sort of different scenarios and different battles of World War II, starting with Normandy and the invasion of Europe by the Allies. And there are different battle packs and different expansions, and it's just super cool. I had played it, it's been on my shelf for a long time, and I had played it a couple times here and there over the years, teaching it to my kids and trying to get them interested. And nobody's really that interested in it, which is a problem that I still have. I mean, I love to play it, but I struggle to find opponents at my house. But man, I've really dove into this game over the last couple months. Years ago, I had an expansion for the Pacific Theater that unfortunately I got rid of it because we just never used it. Now I kind of wish I had it back. But since diving back into it, I've picked up some other expansions for the game. I bought these really cool play mats. One of the things you can do is called the Operation Overlord, where if you have 2 copies of the game, you set the two boards side by side and you can play multiplayer. So you have a couple friends who are on your side as the Germans or on your side as the Allies, and you play against other opponents, as opposed to the base game's just 2 players. And I'm super excited about that. I found a game mat that has instead of having to buy 2 copies of the game, has Operation Overlord. It's like a double size game. And the problem that I found was I don't have a table big enough to play it on. So, of course, the obvious solution to that is build a new game table. So that's something else I've been doing over the last month or 2 since I closed the shop. I've been working on converting my garage into sort of a man cave and another gaming space. And it's been a lot of fun. I still have a lot of work to go. It's still kind of a mess in here, but I built a new game table. I took 2 of the tables that were left over from Sidetracks, 2 of the small sort of end tables. I sold the big tables and the mats and stuff, but I had 2 of those side tables, the small ones, left, and basically built a game topper for the top of it and made it big enough so that it'll fit the Operation Overlord custom mat for that. So the dimensions of the table were geared strictly for Memoir 44, which is, I'm excited about that, even though I haven't got to play it yet. And I still need to get the Operation Overlord expansion, which I don't even have yet, but I'm gonna get it. So I'm really excited about that, especially in the spring and the fall. We'll be able to open up the garage door. I got a new grill, so we'll be able to, grill out and hang out here in the garage. We got a cooler full of beverages nearby. It's going to be a really cool space to hang out and play games with friends and family. So that's what I've been doing the most of, and trying to decide sort of what's next. I have the Sidetracks Board Game Club. I got all the logos created, and it did a lot of groundwork to establish that. The website, I still have that domain for another year or a year and a half because I reserved it for a few years when I bought it. And I've taken down all the stuff related to the shop. It's basically just placeholder stuff there now. But I'd still like to do something with this gaming hobby, with Sidetracks, because it was so much fun, and I really feel like we did some good and had a positive influence, and I feel like we could still do that. So I don't know what I'm going to do next. I'm not sure. I've almost completely gotten out of Facebook. Social media, it's just, I don't necessarily think it's a very good thing. And so I've been trying to distance myself from that. So, if you've noticed that we're not friends on Facebook anymore, don't take that personally. I basically got rid of all my friends on Facebook, and I figure if people want to see me, they know where to find me. Come on out to the garage or sit down and play a game. You can catch me in church on Sundays or at a football game watching the kids or whatever. People know how to get a hold of me if you want to get a hold of me. But so I'm trying to sort of back away from social media because I just don't think it's a very positive thing. But I do love YouTube, man. I'm a history teacher, and I work from home as cyber school teaching, and so I grade assignments all day long. And usually on one screen I'm working and grading, and on the other I have another screen, and a lot of times I'll have YouTube videos going there so I can kind of some background music, kind of background noise. But man, there's so much cool stuff on YouTube, not just board game related, but just different podcasts and things that are on there. And it's a really, really cool thing. I'm sure it's like any other kind of media that's out there. There's plenty of good and there's plenty of bad, but I just find that it's so much better than regular TV and news media and all that stuff. I just really love it. So I feel like I kind of want to be part of that and contribute in some way. And so I've thought about, kind of getting back into the YouTube thing and starting to build this channel a little bit. But I don't necessarily want to be a YouTuber. I guess maybe I'm too old for that. But and I've thought about maybe keeping Sidetracks as sort of an event planning kind of thing, and trying to host events for people. I got contacted recently by our local historical society, and they're interested in putting on sort of a game show or a trivia night for the history clubs from our 2 local high schools. And so they asked me if I'd be interested in getting involved in that, and said sure. So that might be kind of cool. I'm not sure what capacity, probably helping develop questions and helping organize the event, but that'd be a fun thing. And I've made the offer to some churches in the area if they want to do, game nights at their churches. I'd be happy to help them organize that and bring games and facilitate games and stuff. So I still feel like there's something out there, but I'm not sure exactly what it is. I've also thought about dipping my toes into game design a little bit. I have a notebook of ideas that I keep of different games that I've putzed around with over the years that I think would be cool to develop and make. And I feel like I learned a lot in just the year that I did the board game club down in town, because I feel like I learned a lot about different players and what people like, and different ability levels of different players, things that work well and things that don't, really things that are hard to teach, mechanisms that people have a really tough time with. And so I feel like I could put some of that to use in game design. I also have a hard time finding games sometimes that are themes that I like. A lot of board game themes are space related, or they involve IPs like Star Wars or Marvel, and I just don't really have much interest in that. I'm interested. I like the nature themed games, although that's been done to death here in the last couple years. But I also like sort of real world themes in history and geography and things like that. So I feel like there's a lot of room out there in that space to design some cool games and to do something a little bit different. So I've thought about dipping my toes into that too. And I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure where Sidetracks is going to go. I'm sort of holding on to the idea and the name Sidetracks Board Game Club, because I'd still like to do something with it, but I'm just not sure what yet. So if you got any ideas, give me a holler, put a comment down below in the video, and let me know what you think in terms of which way I should go here. So anyway, that's about it. I'm going to probably try to do a couple more videos here. Levi and I are getting ready to head to Gen Con out in Indianapolis, which is the biggest board game convention in the United States. And we're going to be working for a board game publisher out there, working their booth, which is pretty exciting, something that I've never done before. And so, like I said, I'm still gaming. And I'm still active, and the wheels are still turning, but not sure yet where Sidetracks Board Game Club is going to go in the future. So that's where we're at, and hope to see you around the table. If you're looking to put together a game night in Western PA or Eastern Ohio, or if you just want to get together and play some games, hit me up. See ya.